In Spanish, the perfect tenses are used in the same way that we use them in English. And by the perfect tenses, I mean like I have done something, I had done something, I will have done something, I would have done something. What we need are two verbs. We need the verb, which is like the main action. We're going to put that at the end in a past participle, like in English when we change eat to eaten. And then we need the verb to have, I have eaten. But here's the catch. In Spanish, we've got tener, the verb to have. Tener is just to show possession. If I want to say I have done something, or he has done something, or we will have done something, I need a different verb to have as what we call the auxiliary verb. The verb I need is haber. So haber is the verb to have, but it's only the verb to have when we use it as the auxiliary verb. The auxiliary verb is the verb we put before the other verb. So the auxiliary is the I have or you have, it's the have bit, and then what goes after that is called a past participle. Now, to form all of the perfect tenses, we need to understand what we're doing with the verb haber and the past participle. El participio del pasado, the past participle, is like when we change go, the verb to go, to gone, eat to eaten, listen to listened. In Spanish, basically, we take our verb. If it's a regular AR verb, we'll change the ending to ado. We'll change that AR to ado. For example, jugar, jugado. Bailar, bailado. Escuchar, escuchado. If it's an ER or an IR verb, we'll change it to ido. He comido, I have eaten. So we'll come back to these in a minute, but that's basically how we're going to form our past participles. I'll then talk to you about some of the key irregulars, but now let's talk about haber. So in the present tense, we need to put haber into has, ha, hemos, habéis, han. And we need haber in the present tense to form the perfect tense. So the perfect tense is like, I have eaten. He comido. He has listened. Ha escuchado. We have danced or we've danced. Hemos bailado. So what I'm doing here, I'm taking my verb, in this case, bailar, removing the AR, and then I'm adding ado, and that gives me what we call the past participle. Now, this isn't going to change if I change this stuff. This is telling me I have danced. If I change this to the imperfect tense, había bailado, I had danced. So I can change it from I have danced or I've danced to I had danced or I'd danced, because we often abbreviate things in English. I'm not changing danced. If I want to say tomorrow, by a certain time, I will have danced. Mañana habré bailado. I'm changing this, but I'm not changing this. The past participle is always going to stay the same. Comer, because it's an ER verb, I'd remove the ER and I'd add ido. Comido is my past participle for that. If I take an IR verb, decidir, to decide. Decidido. So I have decided or I've decided. He decidido. Now, the usage is exactly the same as in English. Whenever you'd say, I have done something or I had done something, you'd use these same tenses in exactly the same way. We've got the preterite in English. Yesterday for dinner, I ate a pizza. It's a set time. It's a finished, completed action. I'd use the preterite, whereas I'd use the perfect tense. So these with the past participle in exactly the same way when I'd use them in English. And to think about this, we don't often say I have done. We often say I've done. I've just done this. This morning I've not yet eaten. I haven't eaten yet. Todavía no he comido. Still, I have not eaten. Comido. Exact same usage. So it's quite easy for English speakers to work out when to use the preterite, when to use the perfect tense. Now, this is all well and good. Quite easy. We take off the AR, change it to ado. For AR verbs, for ER and IR, we just take off the ER or the IR and we add ido. But there are quite a few irregulars, really high frequency ones we need to watch out for. Let's talk about the irregulars, because lots of the high frequency verbs that we need all the time, are irregular in their past participle. Instead of removing the AR and adding ado, or the ER and IR ending and adding ido, they do something a little bit different. Ir, the verb to go, is actually kind of regular, because if you think of it as an IR verb, you'd remove the IR, which leaves you with nothing, and you'd add ido. He ido, I have gone. Hemos ido a la biblioteca. We have gone or we've gone to the library. Hemos ido a la biblioteca. So remember, you're never going to use tener. I'm thinking, how do I say we have gone? We have is tenemos. Ido, no, it doesn't work. Forget about tener when you're using the verb to have as an auxiliary verb, as part of these tenses. So for now, what we're talking about is called the perfect tense, where we put haber into the present tense, he, has, ha, hemos, habéis, han, and we'll talk in a moment about the pluperfect, just so you've got a bit of a basic understanding. This one is really essential for talking about the recent past. So ir goes to ido, escrito. You can probably guess this is coming from escribir. It doesn't go to escribido. If I want to say they have written, han escrito. Remember, the H's in Spanish are silent, or the H's as some people like to to say dicho. This is coming from decir. Decir goes to dicho. If I want to say, what have you said? ¿Qué has dicho? ¿Qué has dicho? ¿Qué has dicho? He dicho que, I've said that. Ya lo he dicho, I've already said. Ya lo he dicho. Dicho from decir, never decido. Hecho. Hecho is coming from the verb hacer, the verb to do, to make. He hecho algo, I've made something. He hecho algo, I've done something. He hecho. ¿Qué has hecho hoy? What have you done today? ¿Qué has hecho hoy? Visto. Visto is coming from ver, the verb to see, to watch. ¿Has visto esta película? Have you seen this film? This is you have seen, but if I make my voice go up at the end, have you seen? So you often use this for asking questions. ¿Has comido? Have you eaten? ¿Has visto esta película? Have you seen this film? ¿Has leído esta novela? Have you read, coming from leer, this novel? This one's only slightly irregular because it gets an accent. Let's quickly talk about the pluperfect tense, which you can think of as the had tense. I had gone. When this had happened, I had just done this. Think of the perfect tense as the have tense. I have, you have, he has done something. And the pluperfect as the had. We're going a little bit further back in time and a slightly different usage. So we've got había, habías, había, habíamos, habíais, habían. This one's a bit nicer actually. We've got as, amos, ais, an. Very similar pattern to what we see on the end of loads of different verb endings in the different tenses. What this is, this basically changes it from have and has to had. I had, you had, he had, and again, we're not using tener. We've got to use this auxiliary verb. So if I want to say we had gone to the shop, and then we did this. Habíamos ido a la tienda. Habían leído, they had read. Había dicho, he or she had said, or usted, the formal you, had said. Habías escrito, you had written. Habían leído, they had read. Yo había dicho. Now, something I'll mention, I just did it without thinking, but actually, you'll notice the yo form is exactly the same as the él and the ella form, and for that reason, I would often specify él había dicho eso y yo había dicho tal cosa. He had said such and I had said this, because it's exactly the same. So when the yo form is exactly the same ending as the él, ella, usted form, it's more common to use those subject pronouns, which you know the rest of the time you can just drop. Yo hablo is the same as hablo. Yo tengo is the same as tengo. So most of the time we drop it off. But if I just say había, there could be some ambiguity.